if there are stops.
Okay, yeah, we're recording now. I actually just for you, I updated my damn Zoom, so I'm not using the freebie version. I got the one so where it doesn't have a time limit. Basically, I mean, I set it up for like I think I put 3 or 4 hours or some shit like that. Because the freebie version that I've always used has a 40-minute time limit, which is kind of cool for if it makes multiple videos. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. Got to sign off, sign back in. So this is my first time. You're special. You're the first time I'm using this one, so it looks like it's the same.
Um,
So this thing better be recording and recording fucking properly, otherwise we'd be fucked.
but I feel special now.
Yes. So yeah, I'll introduce you. Yeah, so you Rob from goddamn Centurion and Knox. I think this is the first video interview you've ever done, right? I've never seen one on YouTube or anything of you.
I don't do many interviews, actually, as little as possible. Especially, but it's also the time and age. Everyone is doing interviews now via uh, music, like 10 years ago. So then it was not so usual to use video interviews.
Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a new thing. Yeah. Did you watch the ones that I did with obviously I did ones with Seth, Niels, and then I did one with Patrick as well with Tice, Severe Torture. That was in person. Did you see all those?
Yeah, yeah, I watched them all.
Okay, cool. So you're up to
Yeah,
speed then.
yeah, yeah. It's enjoyable. It's informative, and I also watched the ones with Steve Esheim and Glenn Bannon.
Yep.
I really enjoyed.
Oh, cool. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're doing a good job, man. It's yeah, different questions and
Mhm.
stuff. I like your perspective. You ask things other people don't ask.
Yeah, sure, sure. I try to anyways. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, by the way, this shit works. I was a little
Yes.
bit worried. I'm not used to this kind of stuff. So
It's funny. Neither am I. Like I'm prior to starting the channel, I didn't know any of this shit. And like I said, you're the first one. I did the paid Zoom, so this thing better be working right. It says it's recording, so it better fix this goddamn thing. I'm learning this shit as I go too. But as some of it, as you click on it, you're like, oh, this is just easy. Like you saw, it's just a link, and I'm like, oh, okay. But a lot of this crap, I don't know myself. I'm just learning as I go. You know.
no, very good. You're doing a good job, man.
So what do you yeah, ever since the last thing that you've done is just a Contra Rationum album, unless you didn't do anything with Knox after that, right? The last thing was the Centurion Contra, right?
Last, yeah.
And so what have you been doing since then? Just in life, anything? Like, are you just completely out of touch with the music scene, or like,
Uh, well, how should I put it? I quit the band in 2015. I mean, because I wanted to experiment with different music, actually. But wait a second, quick water. Um, I was looking for different inspirations. So I always made music, but very low profile because I was a little bit tired of running a band. So I wanted to, have some type of different inspirations. For example, I was experimenting with quarter tones. So, you hear quarter tones in Arabic music, and for the Western ear, it sounds false.
hmm,
So this is very interesting. You can do a lot of great stuff with that. But I needed a guitar to do that. So um, I had some. I had a guitar, so I could pick those quarter tones. And I've been trying to I've really broken my mind to create death metal music with quarter tones, and it is possible. But I made one song and I let it hear to other people, but they didn't hear the quarter tones. So that's quite ironic because I really did my best to make it sound really different, because I wanted to make something different. They drown in a death metal setting, because of the blast beats and the so it's best to use quarter tones in quiet music, like like maybe acoustic music or something. Another thing is that it's very hard to play precise on a fretless guitar. I really practiced a lot on it, and I was able to do it. Actually, with the Nox drummer, I rehearsed a song, but you really need to hear what you're doing. And it was a very pain in the ass. When you move a finger a little bit from the pitch, you really need to hear what you're doing. So that was not really an option. So I had another guitar with frets, with extra frets actually. Normally a guitar has 24 frets, and I made extra frets on it so I can pick those quarter tones more precisely, which helped a lot. But still, it's hard to make it possible in a death metal setting. So
yes, the Knox stuff definitely seems like the Knox stuff as a listener definitely seems like it'd be more technical and hard to play, because it's definitely harder to follow than Centurion, I would say. It seems very fast and extreme, which I like, but it's definitely not as you have to listen to it a few times just to remember it over Centurion, I'd say.
yeah, I can understand that. You have to imagine with Nox, I wanted to step up the level of intensity, and Bob on drums, he's really fast, and he only wanted to play fast. So there's a lot of blast beats in that music, but we had a lot of time to make it over the top. So what you're hearing is everything is at 11,
Yeah.
Song, because I hear the same opinion from other people. A lot of people cannot comprehend what is going on.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Yeah.
But at that point, we really wanted to make it as crazy as possible.
Yeah,
There's a lot of details. There's a lot of details in that music. A lot of very delicate movements. We really, you have to imagine we had this old Second World War shelter where we were practicing 24/7. So to really pinpoint each detail. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But with Centurion, when we formed back to Centurion, I figured maybe it's better to make the new songs more clear, more comprehensible, because it's a lot of fun adding a lot of notes in music and make it crazy and stuff, but it's also a good challenge to so it's which is a challenge, so if you have just a couple of notes and make brilliant riffs out of that, and that was the vision I had with Contra Rationem, to make it more clear, still with some weird shit in it, because I like it has to be unpredictable. I like it when music is unpredictable.
Yeah. When you
think that through,
when you first started the Centurion, so I'd imagine you were probably like in your mid-20s or so. Was the goal intentionally just, it comes off as obviously like a Morbid Angel, Deicide type worship? Was that completely intentional? Like, yeah, we want to do that, or that was just bands you liked a lot, so that just came out just not even trying. I mean, obviously, you guys had to have somewhat with Morbid Angel because you covered Blasphemy on the demo, a Purest Fire demo, Blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. And I was kind of surprised too, like that you guys never ended up covering Deicide. So I guess you can elaborate on kind of both, like the Morbid Angel Deicide, was that completely intentional, or was it and also too, yeah, why didn't you ever cover Deicide? Because if I was it, I think it was on camera with Seth. I think on video that he said when you guys first met, what was the story? He said something like you guys are talking about Deicide and doing like a Deicide inspired band, and something like he's the biggest Deicide fan in the world, or you are, and he's like, I got you beat, or something like that. I forget exactly what he said. Is that what do you have to say about all that? I guess it's a lot in one question.
Well, good question. I never tried to write like Deicide because they did it so well. I did not. It's so it's speaking about Legion times. That way of composing. I didn't want to touch my fingers on that because they were already doing that as good as they could. So, and I have to say, my way of playing was more like Morbid Angel,
Yeah.
because it's more with bar chords, and Deicide uses more single notes, and so it's a completely different way of writing. Using the bar chords, So I was more comfortable with playing the bar chords, and when I was playing with Whim, when I met Whim and we went to rehearse, the style of Whim is very much comparable to Pete Sandoval, using 1 foot old school blast beats. It also, so I guess that was. It was not really intentional, but it was comfortable to do it like that. But the Deicide aspect was more lyrically.
I was going to say that, like, as a fan, the way I always looked at it is musically, it sounded like your guys' music was more inspired by Morbid Angel, but lyrically and that just the hatefulness, especially the way Seth sang it just felt very, very hateful. I always said the only stuff that felt hateful to me, for the most part, was always Deicide, Centurion, and actually, just ironically enough, I'm wearing Infest Dead. That felt like hateful death metal, as opposed to a lot of other death metal that I like, whether it be whoever, Cannibal Corpse, Grave, Hypocrisy, Dismember. It just seemed like, it's good, awesome death metal I like, but it didn't come off to me as hateful. Like, you didn't like, I never listened to like Left Hand Path by Entombed and thought like these guys were serious. It just thought that's just some lyrics they pull out of their ass to kind of fit the music, as opposed to like I said, Centurion, Deicide, and Infest Dead. I took it seriously. Like, I was like, oh, these guys seem legitimately serious about what they're singing about. Now, whether I was right or wrong, and that was just my perception, that's how it came off to me.
Yeah, to me as well. I could relate to Deicide propelled. It was very relatable. I had the feeling that that man understands me. What I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it was very tempting. Very, like when you were growing up and you were discovering the world. It's not nice to hear or see something you relate to. And a very good drive to make very extreme music. So
was Deicide a band that you kind of fell off with, or did you stay up? Did you stay up to date with them all the way up to their last album, Banished by Sin? And if you did fall off, like, what's the last record you like, or what's your take on the later ones? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I didn't really fall off, but some records I don't really like and also don't own. I think they're pinnacle. And Once Upon a Cross I like a lot. After that, it goes a little bit. It's different. I actually like their last one, Banished Sin.
Yeah.
Very tasteful riffing, very. I really like the rhythms.
Yeah.
Because I think, like drum wise, Steve was trying to do a lot of blast beats and stuff on some other records, but I think his main quality is the catchiness, in the weird placings of the crashes and stuff. So
yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because, like you said, you watched my interview with him, and he almost admitted that, like when bands like Christian and Angel Corpse were coming out, that he felt that there was kind of a competition, like for the almost kind of like to keep up with the times. Like, oh shit, I guess I gotta step up my game. But it's saying I can totally understand that, but it's like maybe just stick with your strengths because you can tell there's certain albums like yeah he's playing really really fast.
yeah.
I personally like all the albums, but I can see where it's like it almost doesn't fit. It's almost like a little too fast for Deicide, what their formula was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think they don't need those blast beats. It's funny. When you listen to Legion, for example, there's very little blast beats on it, but it's their most extreme album, I think.
Especially the first album, the self-titled. The only blast beats, correct me if I'm wrong, is in a couple parts of Dead by Dawn. I think that's the only parts that has blast beats in the entire record.
Yeah, and it tells that's brilliant songwriting. I really like that. That's very clever way of writing. It's very it never stops. It's they're meaning it. It's very rich. Every hit is correct.
Yeah,
I really like that. That's very inspirational.
Did you get to attend the shows? Because what did he do? Like 7 of them or something? When Seth sang for those shows for Deicide, when Glenn couldn't make. Did you get to go to any of those?
Of course, yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's just very weird to see Seth performing Deicide's lyrics.
Now, at Centurion, did you guys ever, the band Centurion as a whole, not just yourself, did you guys ever actually play with Deicide?
Almost.
Oh, okay.
But I actually threatened a guy from a venue, not seriously, but just out of fun. When Deicide's playing, you have to put us on the bill, and he actually did. But the tour got cancelled, so Kate's ago already. So we never shared stage with Deicide.
Okay. So
it was really fun. So
yeah, I made a list of goddamn questions off, kind of like going over like the history of stuff. So I guess I'll just go kind of like the beginning, so that way, and then we'll see what we get to. But like when because you came up with the name Centurion, right?
Yeah.
And now when you look it up, it's basically it's spelled with an O instead of an A, and the meaning of it's the Roman empires, whatever, like in throwing the Christians to the lions. What was your definition of the name Centurion, and why did you use the different spelling?
And it's a single soldier. And Centurion is the one who commands 100 centurions.
So if with an O is for multiple centurions.
No, with an O, it's a leader of 100 centurions.
Okay, so one centurion is with an A then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that because there is another. Did you know? They're okay. It's a decent death metal band. There is another Centurion, and it's spelled with an O instead of an A.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I actually got the band name from the lyric "Lion's Den" of Morbid Angel.
Oh, okay. I mean that makes sense. Well, what is your whole? How much did you? It's funny you say that because Lions Den, and specifically off of like Hail Caligula, off Coronic. That was my first introduction. So I'm a teenager when I'm listening to that stuff. Of the whole the Roman times and throwing the Christians to the lions. And I'm assuming you read up about it much more than I did, but the little research or whatever studying you did, because I definitely thought the topic was very very cool. You find out something they say in the research that that's a myth, like they didn't actually do that, or that was maybe they did, but it's not for sure. Did you hear of any of that? Like
Well, all I can say is that, for example, when you are talking about Caligula,
yeah,
um, opinions are varied. Some say it's a lot of bullshit,
yeah,
and
that's what I read. Yeah,
some say it's true.
yeah, correct.
I think the truth is in the middle of that. But for sure, those emperors, they were very paranoid and murder, and so I could imagine that a lot of it is true. Which is very interesting. It's I mean, imagine that you had in your city a big coliseum where there were people dying, for fun.
Yeah,
that's a surreal thought. On the other hand, in some countries, there are still people beheaded and hanged.
right, correct.
But it's not completely weird. But the Roman era, it's fascinating.
Did you watch that the number two, the Gladiator that came out? Came out, I don't know, earlier this year or whatever. Gladiator 2. Did you watch it or no?
I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, I watched most of it. I didn't finish it because I was kind of falling asleep. It's pretty good, but it's kind of very fast paced. Like you could tell they're almost like they don't want to make it too long of a movie because the way they're starting off with his wife and stuff in the beginning, they're kind of like rushing it. I noticed that. But I mean, it definitely had some cool ass scenes in the Coliseum and shit. It had some cool shit though. It's definitely not. I wasn't bored. Let's just say that.
Okay, well, I'm keen to see it. If it has good shots. I'm really into the cinematography of movies. Did you see the movie Caligula?
No, and I'm assuming because I was going to ask that. Is that where you got the intro for Hail Caligula? The intro that you use for the song?
No, actually, no, not that one. There's actually a part two, Caligula part two.
That's where that intro's from?
Yeah, that's where we had it from.
Okay.
But it's a hard to find movie somehow. I've never. We actually rented from back then. We rented the video from a videotape.
Yeah.
That's how we watch movies. But it's a very obscure movie.
Okay. Yeah, I never seen it. I've heard about it, and I assumed that it was from one of those Roman, either Caligula or Roman films that I just never seen. But I knew I never saw the movie, but I thought the clip was definitely perfect. It sounds, it just sounds very heinous for sure. Like
Yeah, actually, what you in the movie in part two, where we got the intro from, there are people lying on their bellies, and they get impaled in their anus with big.
That's this. Oh, okay, that's what they're doing. Okay,
it's very. But the best one is part one, because I like the combination of torture and pornography in it. It was very. I mean, we're talking about the 70s, so it was quite something that they released a movie like that. In fact, some actors in the movie didn't want to be associated with the movie when it was released, because they didn't know it would turn out like that.
What kind of so you're looking back at it, your lyrics are a little bit kind of all over the place, especially as you've gone further. stuff that was very obvious. Obviously, listen to Purest Fire, it's very, very straightforward. And then obviously when you get to Coronic Chaos Gods, it has some of the very, very straightforward stuff like Damned and Dead and the Law Burning. And then obviously, like we just talked about, Hail Caligula is a little different. It's more about torture and things like that. But where the whole idea of Coronic Chaos Gods, uh, like what exactly does that mean? And the 333 Chaos Gods, and obviously you drew up the demons, and I was going to get into the blood artwork, but let's just talk with the name itself, the Coronic Chaos Gods, and then you end up using that name as the first song on the Nox album. So it's like almost like you continued on with that theme, and whether it been the Morbid Angels or Deicides or predecessors that were singing about anything demons or Satanism, nobody was ever talking about Coronic Chaos Gods. So is this just something that you completely made up, or is it something like what is it to you, like on your beliefs, and is it just something you came up with, or like where did that all come from?
Well, the number of 333 is associated with the demon or the entity Coronic. That number appeared in my life, and I didn't know what the meaning of it was until I was reading about it, and which is Coronic, and it resonated very strongly with me. So I decided to put my belief, to invest my belief in it, and I look at that world or those entities as my sponsors. They move me. They make, I should put it. It's what inspires me. It's what makes me going, and that's why I started writing about it. Not all over the place, but here and there. So it's a very it's like a red line, a red cord in my life. So it's an important theme for me to express.
Is that something that came into your life before or after you were into metal music? Like roughly what age were you?
Maybe just before. It went hand in hand. I was not already playing in a band, but I was making music, and starting to look at occult themes. So it went a little bit hand in hand. And first, it was just writing about anger and blasphemous subjects. But when I was reading more about Coronic and everything related to it, I used elements in the lyrics as time went on. So, by the way, sometimes you're freezed or frozen.
Yeah, same with you. I think it's your connection, or because my connection says it's perfect. Every once in a while, your thing freezes up. Hopefully, it doesn't pick up on recording. It might, but it's not terrible. But it freezes for like 1.5 seconds every every little bit. Yeah.
Okay. But so yeah.
Well then, with that being said, where does the Coronic, what place does it have, or does it have none as far as with the Christianity belief and the Satanism? Does it have any alignment with that whatsoever, or they don't even recognize each other in any aspect?
It's a completely different topic or a realm, so to say.
But would you say the realm of Coronic, does the realm of Coronic even recognize the Christian belief, or if it was the somehow meet each other's paths, it'd be like Jesus who? What the fuck is this? Like, would it be the realm of Coronic be oblivious to the Christian belief, or is it aware of it and just wants nothing to do with it, or like?
nothing to do with it has nothing to do with that. It's a different. It's chaos. It's completely loose from Christianity because it's a totally different belief system. Originally, it was conceived by John Dee, an occultist, and later on, Aleister Crowley, another occultist, he made it more. He brought it more in the picture.
Okay.
With Kenneth Grant, and that just got my interest, and so it's not really it doesn't not really a lot to do with Jesus or God.
Since you're obviously believe in the topics you're singing about, at least to some degree, if not 100%, there's obviously you at least get the vibe that Glenn Benton, at least semi-serious about what he sings about. And you got bands like Asheron with Vincent Crowley, was the priest of the Church of Satan at one point and is into Satanism. So there's not very many guys that are very serious about it. You guys fall into the category of what you sing about. What is your take about most black metal bands and death metal bands? They're kind of not like some of them almost like they. I don't want to say they're taking it as a joke, but it's some of them actually are. What is your thoughts on that? Like other bands, maybe some bands that you even like, maybe you like their music, and it's almost like they just have no, I guess, passion for what they're singing about, the actual lyrical topics. Do you have any thoughts on that, or?
Some bands are serious about it, not many, but I mean, some people actually live it. They live their beliefs. And for a lot of bands, it's an interesting subject to write about. Which is fine. But personally, when I hear music, I want to take it seriously. So when it's not really serious, I can't do anything with it. So, I mean, and also it's a very broad subject. So there's so many people and there's so many takes on Satanism.
Yeah.
So you can argue about it, but I don't, because I don't care. Some bands I like, and some bands I don't. So I'm not really concerned about it.
Okay. Now, and obviously, you had been
version of Satanism.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you froze up there for a second.
Yeah, I mean, oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, obviously, you're definitely serious enough about it. So where, for the first full length, Cores Out of Chaos Gods. So yeah, you painted that entire cover in your own blood.
Yeah.
Now, how was that process? Like, how long did that take? What was the you just cut your arms, you cut your chest? Like, how that went? Like how was how does that go down?
Well, I wanted something intense. We needed a cover, and so I use my arm to draw it from, which is easy. It's a practical thing. I cannot remember how long it took, but it's a process of a couple of days.
Okay, so you didn't do it all in one sitting.
No, not in one sitting. No, I had to build it up and experiment a little, because blood's an interesting substance. When you paint with it, because it's thick and it's
it would imagine hard. That's what I'm thinking. I would think it'd be like kind of like dry fast, like you need a lot of it. Like,
yeah, I was using the thickness of it and sometimes the thinness of it. You can, because I wanted to have some depth in it. So I was experimenting a little bit with that, but I wanted to have something real. When you write lyrics about blood for Satan, lay it on the table. That's what I liked about Glenn burning his forehead.
Yeah, yeah,
There's people drawing it on their head,
right.
but he burned it.
Yeah.
I like. I can relate to such acts because it's you cannot turn that back.
And I always thought that was funny, like bands like in the early days, Mayhem and stuff that were making fun of Deicide and almost like mocking them, like this is not a real band, they're not serious. And then in later times, you still have these, a lot of them, in my opinion, are just jokeable black metal bands that are just whatever. Um, they'll talk shit about stuff like Deicide and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, if you want to talk about seriousness and stuff like that, I was like, Glenn Benton's fucking, he's got all you idiots fucking beat. I mean, I was like, burning a cross in your forehead. I was like, that takes. I like extremity, and I'm pretty intense, but hell, even I wouldn't do that. I was like, that takes some fucking balls. I was like, and these fucking pussies are talking shit. I'm like, dude, you guys are shut the fuck up.
And there's these guys using makeup. For me, it's obvious the difference.
Yeah, 100%. I know.
And another thing is, I like that he's showing his own face, whereas the other guys are hiding behind a mask.
Yeah.
So that's cheesy as well. So
in that case, did you like any black metal? I'm gonna guess. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Just a little bit. I know. Well, I don't know any. I only know you from your musical style. Do you like bands? Like I said, black metal, and if you do, I'm guessing it's more the extreme stuff like Marduk and things like that, or do you not like any of it? I don't know.
Well, I learned to appreciate black metal, some black metal bands, because in the beginning I was just annoyed, all these guys with makeup and nail polish and stuff.
Okay.
But at some point I saw the value of it. It's also a little bit of for those bands, to express their creativity. But I like bands like Mysticum or Burzum, Old Mayhem, Old Immortal. Yeah. Actually, Whim was really into Immortal. So those old albums are very very interesting. It's there's some good riffing over there, but I'm not really a black metal guy. So I like some aspects of some bands because most of the time, sometimes it's too atmospheric, too much leaning on a dreamy atmosphere, you have to be into that. I was more into the brutal stuff, like more, a bit more Razor Deicide, the heavier riffs.
What did you think of the? I'm assuming you know them personally, or at least met them. I'm a big fan of them, and they just so happen to be from your home country. They were shit. Actually, got into them around the same time as the band Unlord. They're from your country, Unlord. Do you know them?
Unlord.
They did 3 records. That's it, and they actually just played their first show like last year or year before ever. Like their first album, Swarshwall, was like 99 or 2000, and it's really fast extreme black metal. They did 3 albums only, no shows. I loved it, and we actually Hell's Headbangers did we repressed the CDs and did them on vinyl for the first time, just like we did with the first 2 Centurions. And yeah, I was a big fan of that stuff, and they're from the Netherlands, so I didn't know if you were familiar with.
Yeah, I know the project because it's not really a band, I think.
Yeah, not really. No, at least not no more. But they did 3 full-length albums.
Yeah, I know the drummer. He's quite fast.
Yeah, very fast. Yeah.
And but those musicians in that project did a lot of bands at the time, I think. So for them it was. I'm not sure if they were really serious with it. I mean, it's good music, but I'm not sure if it was meant to do shows and stuff.
Yeah, because just like I asked you for the I'll do my next year fest, Dead by Dog Volume 2 next summer in 2026. I was talking about doing it in the Netherlands, but it's looking like a lot of bands that I want to get can't do it or won't do it. So more than likely, I'll just do it here in the U.S. again, here in Ohio again. And but when I was talking about the Netherlands, I contacted Unlord, and it was Dennis, the guitar player. He sounded interested. He's like, oh, that maybe. He's like, we just did one show. He's like, but we're some of the members are like out now. He's like, maybe we kind of do as like an Unlord cover band. But he hasn't gotten back to me when I replied back to that. And then since then, most of the other bands I wanted to get couldn't do the Netherlands. So I was like, fuck. I was like, more than likely I'm gonna have to do it here in Ohio again. But it was just funny. I was same thing, like Unlord and Centurion I was talking about. I was like, those are bands that I would love. Because I'm just getting bands that I was a fan of since I was a kid that I'd never seen. That's what I'm interested in seeing. Because if I'm going to do a show, there's no point for me to have incantation or immolation play. It's like I've seen them many, many, many times. It's like I don't care. I want it to be shit that I want. So.
Yeah, I can understand that. We were spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen it all. And I appreciate that you are interested to book Centurion.
What's funny about that is, and it was organically. I didn't even purposely do it. That's why Seth re-emailed me, even though we were in contact years before a little bit, or at least with my brothers we were. It was what video? What did I say? Like top 5 most underrated death metal albums. There was something like that. And one of them that was in there was Centurion, Coronic, Chaos Gods. And I went on some rant, just randomly talking. I didn't even like plan it, nothing. And Seth contacted me from that, and he just said he had copies left over. And then I did the interviews with him, like he had copies of the stuff that we pressed. I was like, oh, we'll just buy them back because we're sold out. And ever since me announcing on the channel and getting those copies back, then they sold out right away once we got them too, like literally within days, sold all of them. And Seth's interviews and Neil's and me talking about the band, without a doubt, like for me doing my second one, Centurion is the #1 requested band that people will tell me. They're like, if you get Centurion to play, like I'm definitely coming. They're like from out of state. Like one guy from Brazil said, he's from Brazil. He's like, if you get Centurion to play, I'm definitely flying in for Brazil. They'll come to Ohio to see it. And it's funny because I guess a question to you is that what do you think about that? Because I actually said the same thing to Paul Ledney from Profanatica. Like when they were around in the early 90s, nobody cared. And now, granted, Profanatica is back and they're putting on they just did my last fest. They did a special set where they did the entire first album. And they're active now. But it's like they were gone for like 20 some years. No one cared. He's like, now that I'm old, he's like fucking in my 50s. He's like, now people care. He's like, where the fuck were they 30 years ago? And it's just funny, like ever since me shouting out with Centurion, it's very obvious. It's the exact same thing. Like all these people like, yeah, get Centurion. Like, and I know like people like they're going to come from around the United States if it was to happen. And just even 2 years ago, if you mention the name Centurion, most people be like, who? I guess what is your years and years later, there's definitely this buzz coming back. Like, for example, if we repressed the Purest Fire,
well, I think
if we did that, I guarantee people would want them. Like, so what is your take on that? Years later, you're done, you're not doing it. Now people care.
Well, it's very simple. People always want what is not there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Then when you play in Centurion, people want Nox. When you play in Nox, people want Centurion. Okay. When you do neither of them, they want both.
Yeah, okay.
but I appreciate the interest, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, and who knows, but the thing is, like running a band, that's a second job. And at this point in my life, it's very hard to do that. Because I don't like to do things half-assed, Yeah. So when I pick up my guitar, when I would pick up my guitar again and write stuff, I actually have songs on the shelves to make an album, but then I want to do the full circle, the full cycle. So recording, doing good gigs, rehearsing and stuff. But You know, that's a big task. At some point, I was a little bit tired of that because you know, when you look around, you know, you have to have your personal situation build up as well. So so right now I have my personal basis in order to have a life.
Hmm.
Because when I was doing music, I lived like a rat, you know. Sick and tired of that. So right now I like the quality of my life,
Yeah.
which improved. So
Sure.
doing a band, you know, it's a lot of work. Which
How long have you been doing your business for?
sorry,
How long have you been doing your business for?
uh, 12 years.
Oh, okay. So it was like right around the time you just started it, basically before you put out Contra Rational.
Yeah, but it was around the time. Yeah, you know, we were writing that album,
Yeah.
and I started my business. Actually, I was not really serious with that. It happened out of necessity,
Mhm.
but it became very serious and profitable to do. But you know that takes a lot of time as well.
Yeah.
So when you have a business, you're never ready.
Yeah.
So your whole focus goes into that, which is a bummer, you know, because sometimes I wish I was more able to get my focus to something creative, you know. Like in the past, I was only focused on music, and
Yeah.
you know everything else I put aside, and sometimes that had costly results. So now I'm a little bit more. Um, I act a little bit more sensible now.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you know, you have to grow up and take care of your stuff. You know, you have to have your shit together.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm very much when I focus on something, I'm target locked. You know,
Mhm.
so if I want a band again, then everything else has to wait.
Yeah.
So
Now, are you married or have any kids?
I'm not married and I don't have kids, luckily.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. But I see.
I'm a free man.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, well, you got that part. So you got that part going, you know, because that makes it harder too when you got a job plus kids plus a wife plus a more, you know what I mean? It's like, that's like,
Yeah,
whoa. Yeah. That's definitely hard. Yeah.
it's that's so, you know when you I've never thought about for a split second about having a family. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would have a heart attack. I really need my quiet space. You know,
Yeah.
to uh, to do my stuff. You know,
Sure.
I'm still creative. I still write music and stuff, but on a low tempo, low profile. But I have to be creative. You know, when you get too much, then you cannot be creative.
Mhm.
So
What is your thoughts on, so from what I hear, both Seth and Patrick, they both liked my idea of Centurion doing the show here in Ohio, my fest. I said I think they talked to you at Seth's barbecue. Thought it was a cool idea. Like, what's your thoughts about them being? I guess it sounds like enthusiastic to wanting to do that. Is that kind of cool? Or you're kind of like, ah, man, leave me alone. This is annoying. I don't shut up. I don't want to do it. Like, how do you? I mean, 2 out of 4 guys are like, whoa, I really want to do this. Like, do you feel like the fun police, or do you feel like I'm busy, man? But like, what's your thoughts on that? Then thinking like,
I'm not. I'm not saying no. I'm not negative towards that whole idea, but because um, when Seth would be singing, who's going to play drums? You know, you
well,
really need
ideally,
to.
and I heard it's not an option. But the best of world would be would be obviously Whim, the entire original lineup, but it sounds like he's a no-go. What Seth say? Maybe was he have arthritis or something? He can't do it, or and it's funny is he's the only guy left. Now that I got you out of the original lineup, he's the only one I didn't have on camera on the channel. So if anybody wants to tell Whim, get his ass over here. We'll do a video too.
I'm not sure about Wim, because I think he actually quit drumming.
Yeah, that's what Seth. Yeah, that's what Seth was saying. Yeah.
But even if he did play drums, I'm not sure. I would like to have a more, with all respect, to solid drummer.
What about which guy is I forget his name. Who plays the drum? I think you had two different drummers for Knox. What about one of those guys?
Well, Knox always had one drummer.
Okay, so yeah, him. What was his name?
Bob.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you just have Bob play like Seth on vocals, you on guitar, Patrick on bass, and Bob on drums?
Well, excellent drummer, but his style is not really relatable to that, not really suitable for Centurion. I think Bob is more of a blast beat drummer, you know, with the two feet blast beats. You know, so there's a lot of and he misses groove.
Could just be too damn fast. You're saying he'll blast through it.
Yeah, because
I see it.
The music of Centurion has more catchy parts.
Yeah, 1,000% does, without doubt.
And you know, so you need a drummer who has groove and can play fast parts, tight.
What about the I'm sorry, I don't know the guy. I just knew the original lineup of Severe Torture. What about the current guy that plays in Severe Torture that took over Seth's place?
I think he's more comparable to Bob. So yeah, that's no, it's like a new generation, you know. How should I put it? Like the last couple of decades already, these new drummers have different techniques and different approaches to making extreme music. Whereas Whim's style, which is comparable to Pete Sandoval, that's more old school. They're actually working harder. You know, it's like stomping with their feet. You know, yeah. Slower, but it sounds different and it feels different. You know, so and those drummers, I don't see them anymore. You know, it seems like it's you know, that they have been vanished or something.
We'll put it this way: when's the last time you talked to Whim, either in person or over the phone or anything? Like, when's the last time you spoke to him?
I think that was I don't know, maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, okay, that long ago. Because I was going to say, if you somewhat talk to him, maybe if he maybe he knows it's somebody like, hey, this guy he has my style a little bit. Like he's a drummer and I'm a drummer, and like he can kind of play similar to me. But I mean, are you and Whim even like? I'm going to assume you're not on bad terms, but I guess you said 10. Like, what's the reason you gone 10 years without talking to him? Just you guys were just never really friends, just bandmates, or like what's the reason? Like,
Whim and me are on good terms, but you know, we both have. He has a family, and that, you know, some years ago he was active again with Inquisitor.
yeah.
That's how I got in touch with him again, because I saw him performing. He was doing a show with Inquisitor, so we got to meet again, you know, and have a good chat. So, but we are both busy, you know. He has a good job and a family and stuff, you know. So, and I'm busy, you know. Plus, we live quite far away from each other. So, but there's no animosity or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I figured, something along those lines. But yeah, I don't know. As far as drummer, yeah, you guys. I mean, I think the Netherlands has you guys have so many good bands that I don't think it's funny is do you know him personally as and it's I guess kind of a joke on the channel because I say it wrong every time. Either AAD or Odd, however the hell you pronounce his name, the original drummer of Sinister, but now he does vocals. Do you know him personally?
Not really. You mean Ad? Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, Odd. Okay. Okay.
I don't know him really personal. I think he was a very good drummer for Sinister.
Yeah, same. I agree.
I really liked his style. It's very.
Loved it. That's why I was always wondering, like, why the hell did he? Because he doesn't do drums no more. He does vocals. Like, do you know what the reason was? And when I was going was like, maybe if you knew him personally, like, would he be a fit if you were to consider redoing it? Like, that'd be kind of cool. Original Sinister drummer would. I mean, as a fan, because I was a fan of both, like the first 5 Sinister albums and the Centurions, I was like, I mean, I'd go watch that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
For sure. I think when they would be having that old lineup and with Art playing drums, that would be killer.
Yeah.
And with Mike on vocals, I think
that's the best stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, very good vocalist.
Yeah.
And Bart Wallenberg on guitar.
Correct. Yep.
Like the my favorite lineup is the Hate lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that record. It's very very good riffing.
Yeah.
And I really like the sound. It's very heavy. Very especially because it's 95, and back when bands had their own sound.
Exactly. Now everybody's a clone.
Yeah, everyone sounds the same now.
1000%.
But just coming back to the drummer thing with Centurion, when I contact someone to make music, I really want to build a chemistry. So and that takes time. So I want to get to know someone musically and build something up. So it's not easy to just pick someone and put it in a band.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I'm very, and I tried a lot of drummers, in Holland. Good. I want to have some connection, and when that is missing, it will not succeed.
Mm.
So I had a good connection with Bob and Whim and Seth. Where you're, when you are meeting each other musically, and it gets a whole, like a unity. So it's not easy to build it up. It takes time. So that's why I'm very careful. Let's just do a show with Centurion, but it has to be very good then, Mm. So it has to be solid. So, but I'm not saying no. But first things first, then,
Yeah.
First a good lineup, and then the rest.
Yeah. So I guess if you're interested, ask around. And again, as far as the money and shit, we'll talk about that off camera. But I can make that work very easily for whoever. Like if a guy,
we don't care about money.
I would make it happen. Put it that way.
Yeah, but it's not a financial thing.
No, I know, but I'm talking about for maybe not you, but as far as a drummer, if he's like, it's not really my band. He's like, but I can play it, I can do it well, but hey, I need to take off work, so I'm going to need X amount of money. If it's like for that guy, so I was like, I'd be able, we'll figure it out.
If a guy like that will be arguing about money, I would not even
want him in.
Start. I want people who live for the arts.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. I'm doing it for the arts.
Yeah.
Which is also why I quit, because like 10 years ago, because I had the feeling I was not adding something new to it, So I'm very careful with starting again, because when it's when we would come out with something, it must be very good. So it has to be good. So when we are
on another flip side, my thought process for this, and it's changed over the years as I'm getting older and a fan of this music for so long. Sometimes it's not a bad thing. Like, let's say you're to start up Centurion and you're like, you could keep the idea of doing a new album, but you're like, even if I never do one, if you just did cool shows like fests and go in place you want, kind of like Repulsion's doing. Does Repulsion really need to make a new album? They're Horrified is considered a classic. Centurion, you have enough material to where you could almost like, if you're to do like, let's say 2 shows a year, almost like do different set lists each time so you're not leaving off songs. Because do you ever notice like a lot of bands, they have a ton of songs, whether it be a Deicide or a Sinister, and it's like, but there's so many songs you've never in your entire career even played live. So what does that mean? It's almost like you're making songs and you're never even going to use them. So it's kind of like, what's the point of those other songs if you're never going to use them? So like for yourself, you guys got, 3 full lengths and a demo. You have enough material to where you could do something now, kind of like see places of the world. I wouldn't just do any old stupid show. I would do something that like maybe a place you want to go to or an event that's going to be a really, really cool time. Get paid for your time, or at least your costs covered, so it's a free vacation. And if you're inspired to write new music in the background as the years go by, then do it. But sometimes I don't always think that redo something you need necessarily new songs, because everything's been done anyways. You guys already have tons of killer shit to where it's like, if people are passionate about wanting to see it, why not? That's the way I see it.
Well, the thing is, personally, I like to look ahead. I am not interested in old songs, so I'm more interested in making new songs. That is what gets me going. So I'm not really interested in doing shows. For me, that's boring. So in the past, we combined old songs with new songs.
Yeah.
And make a good selection. But personally, I like to be creative and make a new album. That's more interesting than that old shit. I mean, it's fun.
When you were playing shows, when you were active doing it, was it kind of something you hated doing, or did you actually enjoy playing those shows when you did them?
Well, I enjoyed it when we had a good sound, went on stage when it was nice to play. And sometimes I wanted to cry because, especially with these bigger festivals, everything is in a rush and you have to go up and plug everything in and just go. And when you don't hear the drums, because that was the hardest part for me personally, always, to get into then it's pain in the ass. So it was either very nice or just a nightmare. But I did, personally, I did enjoy a lot of those shows, especially in Brazil. When we played there, it was chaos. It was in a positive sense. It's the energy you get back from an audience.
Yeah,
that's terrific. That's great.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just plain boring.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But to come back on your point that you are seeing other places with the band, that's not true, because you only see the inside of a venue and you only see the inside of a plane.
What are you saying? It's actually bands have told me that over the years too, like guys in Nunslaughter, shit like that. They're like, yeah, I went to Italy, and here he's like, I saw a club in a shithole city. It's like, if that counts.
No, that's because I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
When I quit music, I traveled a lot and got to see a lot of countries, which is very interesting and mind expanding. So just to dismantle the myth, with a band you don't see a lot.
Yeah. I have been told that. Yeah. Well, it's also too, to kind of go back to as far as your sound, thinking a show of another thing to keep in mind is with my show, I also too all the bands sounded amazing. So I hired I'd hire him again. He did a great job. The guitar player from Nunslaughter, Noah, he owns his own studio and he does sounds at shows. I actually specifically hired him to do sound at my show, and everybody all said how great all the bands sounded awesome. And I am actually gonna, with the exception of Pro Fanatica, because Paul Ledney didn't want his set recorded. Every set's going to be going up on my channel here pretty soon. I have a bunch of videos pre-uploaded, but I'll be uploading, sporadically over the next month, every band set so you can see it. And every band sounds fucking great. Because there's nothing I hate more than going to a band that I like to see and it sounds like shit.
Yeah, that's looking at the band. A lot of those times you have to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
What am I listening to? Sometimes, a lot of times, it's because of the band.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bands don't have their sound together. You have to have a good basis for your sound. So sound guy can make something useful out of it. But a lot of times, it's hit or miss. At one point, we had a very solid sound guy, which is very helpful. But I have no doubt that you are doing everything you can to have the right to hire the right people.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. So when I first met Seth and Patrick, it was in 2001 when Severe Torture came over here. They played in Ohio and a few other shows, and that's when I first met them. And it's funny because didn't hear Severe Torture at the time. Feasting on Blood was very, very new, and that's where I brought, me and my brothers, we brought a Pure Aspire CD and the Coronic Chaos CDs, and had both Seth and Patrick sign it. Now, looking back at it, obviously that was very, very soon after they left Centurion to do Severe Torture. What was your reaction when they quit the band to do Severe Torture? Like, because you were talking about how important members are and they need a fit. And, Centurion just basically did their first full length and now they're leaving already. Were you like really pissed off? What was your...
Well, I actually kindly asked them to leave.
Because they were doing Severe Torture?
Well, they were getting more successful with Severe Torture and also more busy. And it was always their main band.
Okay.
Because they were already doing Severe before Centurion. So Whim and me, we were discussing the situation, and it made sense to let them leave, so they could focus on Severe, and we could hire two other persons who could focus on Centurion. So there was no animosity or something. It just made sense.
Yeah, okay.
It was all on good terms.
Now, when the Libar Zax came out, why didn't that lineup last? Or like, well, shouldn't say lineup? Like the band broke up after that. Like you obviously had a replacement lineup for Seth and Patrick. Done Libar Zax, like a couple years later. Why did the band after that break up? Like why didn't that lineup last and the band last?
Well, there was some animosity between Whim and these two new members.
Okay.
And at one show it was kaboom. There was some I'm not really sure what was the reason for it, but it was I was already starting up with Nox, and so I didn't put a lot of effort into saving that lineup, but it was something didn't work out well personally, on a personal level, between Whim and the other two guys. Let's call it temperament,
Okay.
But at that time I didn't make a big problem out of it, because I was able to focus on Nox. So because I had the feeling with the Liber Zarzox record, which was a fine record, but I wanted to step up technically, make it, always trying to improve. And I was not able to do that with the Liber Zarzox lineup. So I started Nox to do that.
Yeah. And then from Nox, so again, then like 2014-ish, well, probably a little bit before then, that's when it came out. You did Centurion again. Like what was the reason you kind of back and forth? All right, no more Nox. Let's do Centurion again. Like why what kind of inspired that?
Well, the thing is, we did Nox for a couple of years, but we put a lot of work in it. But at some point, Seth left the band. Bob making death metal. How should I put it? You really have to want that, to do that. And when you're putting a lot of work into a band and you're not getting there, people can get frustrated or they can lose their interest. So at one point I was looking for a drummer for Nox, and I didn't succeed, until I got a call from Seth, and he said, "Why didn't you let me try it? Let me try playing drums for Nox." So we rehearsed, and Seth, he played the Nox songs, but we discovered that the style of Seth is more comparable to Whim's style of playing, like a more old school approach. So when we were starting writing new material, it sounded more like Centurion. Then that's why we changed the name back to Centurion.
Okay.
It has a lot to do with the sound.
Yeah, okay. And then, well, how did you guys, for the Contra Rational album, it's funny because it took me years to realize it. Neil's doing vocals, because you Dutch guys with your last names, a lot of times you don't even put it on the albums, like Sinister didn't, and it just says the first name a lot of times. That's what you guys do. So for years, I didn't realize it was the same guy that sang for Prostitute Disfigurement, which I was a big fan of the first two albums by Prostitute. Those were the ones I owned. And, he has a very, very guttural voice. So what made you go with Neil's? Like, because obviously that Prostitute stuff was way different. And that's why when I owned the Contra Rational album for years before I realized, oh, it's the singer from Prostitute Disfigurement. I didn't even realize it's the same fucking guy. Because again, the first names just being put in there and then put two and two together. Why did you decide to go with him? Because you would think just listening to Prostitute Disfigurement, like, oh, there's no way this is a fit for Centurion. It's not even remotely the same. Like, how did you decide to go with him?
He actually contacted me. He was a little bit, how should I put it? Because I was looking for a singer, and I never thought about Niels because of his style for Prostitute. I never for a second I was thinking about him because for obvious reasons,
Yeah, when it fit, yeah.
I was not aware that he is able to sing like Seth, like articulated. So we got in touch with each other, and I took him to the studio to re-record a Nox song, and I was flabbergasted, because his timing is perfect, his articulation is perfect. I was surprised. So I was not able that he was able to do that. So, but he had to convince me. So I gave him a chance with that. So yeah, he's a very he's very how do you call that, versatile. Niels can do different styles. He has a very good ear for timing and for articulation. But he never showed it because of his own band, Prostitute, you know, where it's all guttural and. But on the other hand, I was also he's very good frontman. He's very present. So and then when I heard him singing, you know, it was an easy choice.
Okay. Now, when did you and Whim kind of like part ways, like after Libar Zarzax, and you just decided to go Knox, and from there on, yeah, you guys didn't really do anything together then, didn't you? You and Whim, did you like just part ways then? I mean, you said you bumped into him at an Inquisitor show, but like from then on, when you guys like when you got in the fight with the other two members on the Libar Zarzax, and then you just decided to go with Knox. Did you and Whim just kind of go separate ways permanently with music and like never really talked about doing stuff again together?
Exactly that. Yeah, we split ways, and he focused on his family, and I focused on you know, getting Knox from the ground, and that's that. And then years later, I saw him performing with Inquisitor. So, yeah.
Do you know what inspired him to redo Inquisitor? Because Inquisitor was, for people that don't know, that was even pre-Centurion. That was Whim's first band. So years went by, like there's a huge gap. What, at least probably more than 20 years. That now he's coming back to do Inquisitor. Like, what do you have any idea what inspired? Because that's a big time gap to be like, okay, yeah, let's redo it. You know.
I guess Eric is the guitar player for Inquisitor. I guess they are the engine behind Inquisitor, and at some point they got together again. What the exact reason is, I don't know. I'm not sure. I never asked, but I guess they had some unfinished business to do because Inquisitor had released just on one album.
Yeah,
and then also there was, I assume, there was interest for the band, you know, to play live, and because Whim actually quit drumming after Liber Zarzax. So for a long time he didn't play drums.
Oh, even back then he did. Okay, so it wasn't like, so he kind of quit drums twice back then and now in the recent times. Oh, okay.
So, but the exact reason to reunite Inquisitor, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But
you know, they're
back then wasn't, because it's funny, is this is going way back. This is like 2000 or so. Wasn't Whim the one that was managing the Centurion like website, the merchandise? Because I mean I wrote to him back then, and I bought a couple shirts like the Hell at Last shirts, and hell, I even think I'm trying to think like the Libar Zarzax, the full color shirts. Can't remember if I got that through there or I can't remember, but definitely I wrote for sure. I emailed Whim back in the day and got shirts and stuff. And so what it looked like is he was the one managing the Centurion merchandise. It's almost like I would almost thought you would have done it because you're kind of saying like it seemed like you started the band and kind of like almost had to have the stressful business side, quote unquote, of it. But it seemed like Whim was doing a lot of that.
Whim managed the band back then. And he did it, you know, he was very focused with that. He did a good job, you know. He was in contact with everyone, and he was handling the merch. I was taking care of the creative part, so I was only writing. So yeah, you know, when I met Whim, Whim is older than me. So when I met Whim, he already had contacts. He knew people, you know, he knew where to go, what not to do, which was great, you know, because I was a rookie, and I still don't know a lot of people because I never really get into that. So it's good to have someone like Whim to.
For business side, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But if
What
I
is
would,
the
sorry.
speaking because Whim and Inquisitor and all that, I always wondered. And it's funny, as I actually recorded a video the other day. It hasn't been up. Maybe this might even go up first. But I talked about it on the Purest Fire demo. The last song, "Damnation for the Holy," is an Inquisitor song, is an Inquisitor cover, and is the opening song
Yeah.
on the Inquisitor is the opening song on Inquisitor's album. And the funny thing is I always heard Centurions first because I heard Inquisitor after Centurion. So talking about bands where I like the cover song better than the original, I like the Centurion cover better, but it could be because I heard it first. Although it's funny because maybe just because I heard it first is the Inquisitor. I think that's the best Inquisitor song too. What's the reason you guys decided to cover Inquisitor for Centurion? I mean, obviously, yeah, it's Whim, but it's like not always bands have members all the time of each other. Like, and it's funny because that song is super fitting, especially with the lyrics. That's another reason why I love that song is I love the lyrics to the song "Damnation for the Holy." I mean, "Damnation for the Holy," and so it was fitting for Centurion. Like as a kid listening to that and bought the CD. Before I looked in the booklet and stuff, I didn't even realize it was a cover song. Probably until a few months in, I'm like, "Oh, that's not even an original." I just thought it was fitting. So I think it came out really, really good. I think it's probably the best example of where I like a cover better than the original. And but the question is like, why did you guys decide to cover that for your first release demo?
Good question. I think it was because we played that song with Inquisitor. I guess it was for him to the outside world like a wink of the eye for the old fan. I think a wink of the eye for the old Inquisitor fans.
Yeah.
Because it was like a transition phase.
Yeah.
Because he went from Inquisitor to Centurion.
Yeah.
So it's like a transition thing.
Sure.
And I always liked. That's why I got in touch with Whim, because I played in Hammerhawk before Inquisitor, Centurion, sorry. And then with Hammerhawk we had a show together with Inquisitor, and I thought, all right, I saw Inquisitor perform, and I really liked the atmosphere, the blasphemous atmosphere, and Whim's particularly where I need, so then we started rehearsing, but at first, actually that first rehearsal, the Inquisitor guitar player was not there because we were playing Inquisitor songs, but I had to figure out all those Inquisitor songs by ear to rehearse, So because at first I was supposed to play for Inquisitor. So when we figured, all right, this is not really the Inquisitor like, it's more something else. So then we decided to go under a new name, which was Centurion.
Yeah. Also, but you were the one that when you came up with Centurion, it sounds like you met Whim first to join the band, and then Seth and Patrick last, because we talked about the Seth interview. Patrick actually isn't on A Purest Fire actual recording, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, but
because he was.
So you met him because you guys photographed him though. So you met him last. So how did that go? The whole process of you starting the band and get recruited, basically, sounds like it anyways. You were the one recruiting each member, kind of step by step. Like, how did that go down? You kind of explained with Whim, then how from Seth and then to Patrick.
Okay. First, we needed a vocalist because we still had the Inquisitor bass player, so we were looking for a vocalist. And we tried some people, but when we tried Seth, we were like, all right, this is the guy, because of his voice and his perfect timing. You know, all the other guys didn't have a good voice. They screwed up all the timing, you know. So that was easy. Plus, he was a Deicide fan, you know, which is good for the vibe,
Uh,
because we wanted to, but he also had to have some, you know, some blasphemous intentions, you know. And he explained, you know, Seth explained. So we had Seth. Then we asked the bass player to leave. And then Seth said, "Oh, I know a bass player, Patrick." So we got Patrick at the rehearsal, but we didn't have him on the demo because he was still a little bit in doubt. So when we released demo and we got success with it, and things got going, then Patrick's interest evolved, and he joined.
okay.
And then we recorded the first full length.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what basically it.
Just one thing about the demo, because to correct something Seth said, I didn't record belly guitars, and the third guitar was not down-tuned or something, but the third guitar had more low in the mix. So there was never a bass guitar on that demo.
Okay.
Just a minor.
No, I know that's it's funny because actually my friend Kramer Antichrist from Satanic Scanhead, Totalitarian, Niagara Bliss, he's a big Centurion fan. He's over in the Chicago area. That was actually his question. He's like, I'm almost positive Patrick's not on the demo. He told me to ask that for the Seth interview, and Seth confirmed that. But I also wanted to hear kind of your side of like just your memory on the whole thing, and because it's always me looking in. Grant, I never met Whim, but he seems a little grim, and you seem more, yeah, like serious about the lyrics. And Seth seemed kind of in the middle, and Patrick seemed kind of like the fun guy, the party guy, the joke around guy, almost like as far as the serious band, like as far as they have the serious topics and shit like that, maybe he may not be as into it. And I don't say that in a bad way. I think the guy's hilarious. I think he's great. But it just seemed like you and him had very different personalities. And I don't know if that could clash too in a band, you know, that you're trying to do something with, but it sounded like it worked, you know, so.
It works great because Patrick is very, I wouldn't call him a fun guy. I mean, you can have fun, you know, he has his humor and stuff, but
yeah,
I think he's very diplomatic. You know, he glues a bad situation. You know what I mean?
kind of, yeah. Because
So,
he seems like again, you know him way better than I do, but I get the vibe that he's a person that everybody gets along with. I'm just in general, people in the world.
well, you know, yeah, sort of, but not because he follows. You know, how should I put it? You know, he's respectful to others. You know, so in fact, yeah, he's easy to get along with, but it has to do with his temper. You know, he's not very explosive. Whereas I know other band members, including myself, that can explode. You know.
Yeah.
So that's why you need a Patrick, you know, to have some calm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah.
That's priceless. So
Yeah. Well, looking back at it all now and having a, you know, kind of first video conversation about, you know, almost an enormous part of your life. How do you feel about that? Like, do you miss it all? Like, would you do it all over again? Would you do anything differently? Like, are you kind of like, yeah, this is like, what do you think about it looking back on it, kind of like talking about it out loud that now that you're no longer doing it, at least for quite some time now?
well, for sure, there are things I will do different, especially concerning band management. I never delved into that because I was always busy with the creative aspects. But it's a different thing than a band. How I am looking back is that I would treat people differently. I would be more because I see my flaws in that. You know, when you are running a band, yeah, you need to communicate. I would spend more time to the communication aspect, so you have a better result. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I look at it. But I don't regret anything. I mean, we made good albums, and we had some very interesting moments. You know,
yeah.
We left our mark here and there, and still people are interested in the music. So that's yeah, that's good. But you know, I still have the feeling I didn't write my best album yet. So who still there?
Moving forward here, because all your stuff is out of print. You were saying on listenable records, they want to do the Libar Zarzax, the Contra Rationum. Do they plan on doing that? And yeah, as far as a Purest Fire, Coronic, if you want us to do those, we can always repress those. And assuming that's okay with Full Moon Productions, I'm not sure if you own it or Full Moon owns it. I forget what we did last time. I don't remember, to be honest.
Well, Full Moon quit, so they gave the rights to me.
Okay.
So yeah, feel free.
Okay, and then as far as the other two, Libar, the reason I ask is because people ask me in email all the time, like, "Hey, you guys gonna repress all the Centurion stuff?" I was like, "The first two," I was like, "It's possible." I was like, "Since we did them once," I was like, "But basically, I guess you could tell them is like, so is Listenable Records actually going to do it? Because they said they don't want to license it out to us. What does that mean? They're going to actually repress the stuff?" And
I am not sure about that. I think they are not in the right mindset for that. I mean, they were very short about licensing Liber Zarzax to you guys, which is that album released by you guys. Mm-hmm. So, but I guess it's just not interesting for them. I'm not sure. I don't get a lot of information out of them. So
but they actually do own the album in writing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of sucks then.
Yeah, yeah, that's. I still have the contract somewhere, but I should look it up. But yeah,
probably should, because I wonder if it's a year deal. Like sometimes some of our contracts that we sign, it's for like 5 years or 7 years. It's not forever. You know what I mean?
I have to look that up, which I will.
Well, Rob, is there anything you want to add? I don't want to take up any more of your time. And yeah, when I post this, sorry if there's any freezing or pausing. Well, instead of blame it on God, like Deicide says, fucking blame it on Zoom. Goddamn it! I don't know what the fuck to tell you. So it's kind of got, because I'm sure some people, if it freezes, some people might bitch in the comments, but it shouldn't be too bad. But there's parts I think it does freeze. But apologies for that when it goes up if you see it, if there's any freezing. But that ain't on me. But other than that, is there anything you wanted to add or say? And other than that, you got my contact too if ever got to hit me up. But I didn't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh no, it's everything is okay, man. I appreciate this interview, so no worries about my time. I appreciate it. Your interest in the band, for the band, and I have nothing to add actually.
Okay.
Other than I wish you a lot of success with your show.
Oh, appreciate that, man. And I guess if anybody knows, whether it be you, Seth, or whoever, Niels or whoever, if you have a Whim's email, shoot him this video. He's Whim. If you want to do a video with me, you're the only one out of the original lineup then I haven't had on camera. It's a lonely guy, but I doubt he wants to do it. Sounds like he's a family man and doesn't. But, can always have a conversation, homie. So if he's up for it, somebody send it to him.
Well, yeah, that would be interesting.
I'd be curious what he's up to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so you can watch it too. Exactly. You'll find out too. Find out together. This goddamn thing.
Yeah, you succeed in that.
Yeah, fucking thing froze up there at the end. All right, Rob. Well, yeah, I don't, yeah, you got me. Okay, things freezing up here at the end, but yeah, if you got nothing else to add, then yeah, we'll just call it here. Appreciate your time, and like I said, if you need anything else, you got my email, so just hit me up.
Sure. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for your time as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. It was good talking to you.
I wish you an excellent weekend.
Thanks, you, man. Same to you. Later, goddammit.
Cheers.